Alrighty, welcome to the presentation, everybody. I'm Trevor. I'm going to be your host, and we're going to take just a few minutes to teach you guys all about eBay fees. Okay, now these eBay fees have changed over the years, so and they're subject to change again. Usually, eBay will change their fees, or if they are going to change their fee structure, it usually happens at some point in the spring. But as of right now, this is what's current. And we want to make sure you know your fees so that you're not surprised when you've got some expenses after you sell something, because it's the way it works on eBay. If you sell something, expect a little bit of cost for that. So I've got eBay's official page right here. I'll link this in the video or in the notes below the video. So if you need this, you can come refer to it. There's a lot of fat here that we're going to cut through. I'm just going to get straight to the point with specifically what the fees are, so you know how to handle it, because there's a few main fees, and that's what I want to look at. Okay, let me scroll through here and let me talk about these two. They're called basic fees right here. One is called the insertion fee, the other is called the final value fee. Now here's what the insertion fee is. Without just reading this verbatim, I'm just going to explain it to you. Whenever you put something onto eBay, list an item, as they call it in eBay, you're potentially subject to an insertion fee just for inserting the item onto eBay. That's where it gets that name, insertion fee. Now, luckily, each month, your first 20 listings or insertions are totally free. Okay? Doesn't cost you anything. On your 21st listing, it's going to cost you 30 cents just to insert it or list it onto eBay. And on your 22nd, it's going to cost you 30 cents. And on your 23rd, it's going to cost you 30 cents, so on and so forth until it resets the next month and you get 20 free again. Now, 30 cents isn't a big deal, but 30 cents multiplied by hundreds and hundreds of listings, if you're doing this on a grander scale, can get a little expensive. There's a way to reduce your insertion fee, and it's through what's called an eBay store. For high volume listers and high volume sellers, that's what you're going to want to get, an eBay store. But that's beyond the scope of what we're talking about today. I just want to explain what the fees are so that you know you get 20 free per month. Then after that, it's 30 cents a piece, okay? That's called an insertion fee. Now, that's not necessarily the big one that you have to worry about, okay? The big one you have to worry about is this one right here called the final value fee, okay? It says here, if the item sells, and this is if and only if the item sells, you're charged a final value fee. So in other words, if you list something and it never sells, then this final value fee doesn't apply. But if it does, it's calculated as a percentage. So if I sell something for $50, okay, and it's my, it's my 15th listing of the month, then there's no insertion fee, because I'm under 20, but there is a final value fee if I sold it, and that would be 10%. So mark that or put that into your memory. 10% is the standard final value fee, which means eBay takes $5. Okay, that's eBay's commission. That's how eBay stays in business, and I think that's fair. After all, they do all the marketing for you. All you do is put up the item for sale, right? So that's a final value fee. That can be reduced as well. You might think, well, is there a way I can get that to 9 or 8 or 7%? You can via an eBay store. So once again, if you're a high volume seller and you know you're going to move a lot of product, then you better get yourself an eBay store. An eBay store is about $20 a month. If you're just starting out or you're just looking to sell a few things from around the house, don't get an eBay store. Just know you've got 20 free listings a month. And then every single listing you sell, you're subject to a 10% eBay fee. Okay? Now, look at this page. It's full of all sorts of different, like, hey, but what if, or exceptions, or upgrades, and different things. There's a lot of upgrades on your listings that'll cost you extra. Most of it is garbage, truthfully. You don't need to do it. It's not going to give you an advantage. I continue to scroll just to show you all the different exceptions and terms, and all of this stuff is pretty much summed up in what I just told you a minute ago, okay? The important stuff are these two basic fees. Now, let me go over here just to review with you. just to make it look a little more simple. So eBay fees, two types: insertion, which we talked about, final value fee, which we talked about. Okay. Here's what we're missing though, guys. When you have a transaction that goes through eBay, it usually goes through PayPal. PayPal is kind of the standard on eBay to accept payment. When you accept payment through PayPal, there's a transaction fee, and it's 2.9% of the transaction. So we just used the example $50 sale just a minute ago, right? And we took 10% for eBay. That was a $5 that we send over to eBay for the sale. Well, you've also got to pay 2.9% to PayPal, and if I multiply $50 and multiply that by 0.029, that would be 2.9%. You'd look at $1.45 that's going to go out to PayPal. That's their standard transaction, or well, that's their standard fee, and then they also tack on another 30 cents for the transaction as well. So instead of $1.45, I'd be at $1.75 for PayPal. So as a general rule, guys, and this is what makes it real easy. In your mind, if you're going to sell something, just know if it sells, 13% is going to go out the door total to eBay and PayPal. And you can usually do a little mental math on that, right? You got a $100 item that you've listed. Just know that 13% or $13 will go out to eBay and PayPal. And don't be frustrated with it. They're not raking you over the coals. It's a fair amount. That's a pretty standard transaction fee from PayPal. And eBay 10% is a very fair fee considering they do all the marketing and advertising for you. And that's it. It's as easy as that. Now, again, these fees can change, and eBay over the years seems to be marking them up just a little bit each year. They seem to go up continually, but I guess so does everything else. So just make sure you watch the eBay announcements in the spring for changes, but as of right now, this is it. If you know these fees, you should be able to sell real effectively on eBay.